there, folks. Welcome back to Rule of Thumb. As promised in yesterday's video, which if you haven't seen that one, I'll put a link to that in here. Yesterday I made a milk bread that has been all the rage on the internet. And it is a sweet milk bread, but instead of glazing the top of it, I just coated it with butter because I thought the sweetness, the kind of subtle sweetness in the background, would pair really well with Sloppy Janes. Now, what are Sloppy Janes? Really, it's a Sloppy Joe, but it's made with ground turkey instead of ground beef. So I have some home canned ground turkey. I have 2 pints, which I don't pack mine super full, so it's probably going to end up being about 1.5 pounds. You can totally use fresh ground turkey. It'll work just as well. This is just what I happen to have on hand. So this is what I'm going to use. Now, what I'm going to show you today is not necessarily, I'm going to turn the heat on here, is not really a recipe. This is a method and inspiration, because you can go crazy with this. You can put as many or as few things in it as you want. You can change this up to go in 20 different directions. Anybody that's ever made Sloppy Joes knows you rarely ever make it the same way twice, or at least I don't. So this is no different. So all I'm going to do is start off, I'm putting in the liquid and all in here. And I am just going to get this browned up. It is already fully cooked, but I just want to get some more color on it. And let it start to develop some flavor. And when I get ready to move on from there, I'll bring you folks back and show you the next step. Okay, so I thought I'd bring you folks back because this is where you have to learn to adapt when you are in the kitchen. So I probably had more liquid in the jars than what I would have had I been cooking this turkey from fresh, right? So I am needing to start to absorb some of this liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my home dehydrated carrots and celery. And this is going to just bump up the vegetable content. So that's probably 3 heaping teaspoons. Let's do 4. Yeah. And you could use any dehydrated vegetable. If you have it on hand, you could use, you could even use a slurry, like a cornstarch slurry if you needed to, you know. But I'm just going to use vegetables. Now I have some dehydrated onions that I got at the Mennonite market. So I'm going to do a couple, 2.5 teaspoons or so of those. And that will start to take up some of that liquid. You can already see some of that is starting to dissipate. And we're getting some extra vegetable into our mix. So then what I'm going to do is, if I can find my little spatula here, I'm going to add my tomato paste. So I have just a 6-ounce can of organic tomato paste. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. Get it in the pan, not on yourself. That's the goal. Alright, so we got that. Set that aside in case man down. In case I end up needing to add more liquid, but I'm guessing I won't have to, so we're just going to get this tomato paste incorporated in. And also let it cook out a little, because tomato paste can be a really strong flavor, so you want it to have the opportunity to cook out let the flavor mellow a little, let it marry with the turkey. See how this is starting to come together, getting that nice color from it. Alright, so we're getting there. We're just building flavor in layers, and that's why I said this isn't so much a recipe as it is a method and hopefully some inspiration to try, ground turkey instead of ground beef. Sometimes it's a nice little, I'm going to cut this down a little bit because I don't want it to splatter everywhere. You see how that's already starting to thicken up now? But yeah, sometimes ground turkey is a nice change from ground beef. Oftentimes it is less expensive than ground beef, or at least in my area it is. Especially if you catch it on sale. So it is one of those things where it's a nice alternative to trying some different things. Now, in my family, a standard for Sloppy Joes is to add barbecue sauce. And I usually have a bottle of barbecue sauce open in my fridge, or sometimes I have my own home canned barbecue sauce. It doesn't matter what flavor it is. It's just gonna, whatever flavor barbecue you add is gonna be the direction your Sloppy Janes or Sloppy Joes are gonna go in. So I'm gonna say I'm probably adding a third of a cup in there maybe. And what that does is the sweetness counterbalances the acidity of the tomatoes. I come from a family of people that have sensitive stomachs, and Josh does as well, so we're always trying to make sure that what we eat agrees with us. So we got that in there, and then one of the things I really like to use, and that I always have in my fridge, is, and I have it in a jar because I buy it in a pouch, is white miso paste. And I know you're thinking, what? Like, what kind of craziness is he talking? It is, so you see I got just a big heaping dollop there. This is a crazy ingredient, yes. And most of you probably are not going to have this on your shelves. I highly recommend you try it. You can buy it in small packages. I buy it in big packages because I use it in a lot of things. But you can buy it in small packages, and you can add it to anything where you want what they say is an umami flavor. And what that is just kind of a really deep, rich kind of background note. And that's what that miso paste is going to give you. And all it is a fermented soybean paste. So, I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's not, some, chemicals or anything like that. It's just an all-natural ingredient, but it just, I'm telling you, if you try it, sorry, that's Josh sneezing in the background. If you try it, I have a feeling you're going to like it. All right, so I haven't added any salt. I'm going to use good old Lawry's, and I'm just going to do what is probably, I don't know, a couple teaspoons in here. And then reach over here and get some black pepper, because, everything's better with black pepper. I know, it's a crazy amount of black pepper. We like black pepper. Alright, so we got that. This is bubbling away. And you see how nicely this is thickened up, so, it's just work with what you got, add as you go. That's all there is to it. So, I'm going to turn this down a little, and then I got one last ingredient. And this I picked up at a Mennonite store that we were at last weekend. It's smoked cheddar powder. And I thought, this might be tasty in these Sloppy Janes. So, This is I'm guessing a half teaspoon. Yeah, half teaspoon. So I'm doing a couple heaping half teaspoons. So I'm going to say I'm probably putting in 2 teaspoons maybe. Because, it is a stronger concentrated flavor. So we'll get that stirred in. Hopefully it doesn't clump up too much. I think it'll cook out as this simmers. Because now what I'm going to do is let this simmer for a little bit so all these flavors that we added can meld together. And then we'll come back, we'll taste it, and see if we need to make any adjustments to the flavors. So I'm going to let this simmer on low for probably, 10-15 minutes. Doesn't take a real long time. And then I'll bring you folks back when we get to that point and see what we're going to do next. Okay, folks, we're back. I just tasted it, and the only thing I think is it could probably use a little brightness. So I am just going to do a little, maybe a teaspoon and a half of lemon juice, just to give it a little zing. And I'm going to do probably a good teaspoon of dried parsley. And I think we're going to be good to go. A lot of times, I didn't add it this time because I added that smoked cheddar powder, but a lot of times I will use smoked paprika in my Sloppy Janes or Sloppy Joes. So that's another good suggestion. A little teaspoon of Dijon mustard is a good background note. My mother would cringe if she heard me say that because she hates mustard. But it is good. Alright, now let's give this a shot here. That's what it needed. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this plated up. I'll bring you folks back, show you what it looks like, and we'll close out the video. Okay, folks, here we go. This is what it looks like all plated up. We are ready for dinner. This is going to be delicious. So, we can go ahead and take a test bite for you with the Sloppy Janes on the milk bread. Okay. It's like screaming hot, so. Yeah. Those two were made to go together. So, I definitely recommend trying both these recipes. Like I said, I'll have links going both ways. So please check out both videos. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Come back and see us soon. And as always, I hope you had a great day.